Hey, what's going on, everybody? So you guys know my name is Yusef Scott. They refer to me as the Forex GOAT. I want to welcome you guys here to the So Darn Easy Forex movement. I realize you guys could be anywhere in this world on this beautiful day, but you're watching this video, so I want to thank you. Now listen, as I always tell you all, if you're not yet connected to me on social media, of course that's Facebook, that's Instagram, you guys need to be connected with me, alright? If you're not a part of the 26,000+ subscribers here on my YouTube channel, get connected, alright? Get subscribed. If you're not a part of my Vimeo subscriber list, or if you're not connected with me there, you want to get connected with me there as well. Now listen, today's video is going to be on a topic that I get a lot of questions from people from all across the world. Well, not all across the world, but in the US usually. They ask about this question, and I want to give you guys insight on this. All right. Now this topic is about taxes. How do you file your taxes for your gains or losses? All right, when trading Forex, because you guys know tax time, you know, a couple months from now, you know, we'll be dealing with taxes again. So this is something that's ongoing. You have to keep in mind. Now, let me first say, please know I am not a tax professional. All right, just like everybody here watching this video, if you're in the U.S., I pay my taxes. I have tax situations. You know, every single year, I'm going to go and talk to my tax accountant. I'm going to go and talk to this person. That, you know, you guys know how it is. So, you know, because I reside in the U.S., I have to pay taxes. So, this is an ongoing thing. Every year, we have a new tax situation. So, I want you guys to know, I am not a tax professional. You can take advice from me, or you can leave it at the doorstep. You can always hear what I have to say, but I ask you and I urge you, please contact a tax lawyer or your tax professional, your CPA, whoever, and let them advise you on what's the best move for your situation. All right? Now, just like credit, everybody has a unique situation. Just because one person may have had this one thing happen, it may make their credit increase or decrease by, 75 points. Whereas if you receive that same type of situation, it may only affect your credit by 35 points. So everyone's tax situation is different. So you have to know that please seek professional counsel and advice from someone who's licensed or what have you. But let me tell you guys what it is. I'm going to give you advice based on what it is that I know, based on the things that I've done with my profits or losses over the years. All right? One thing I want to tell you guys is that, I know that most people who contact me, or well, let's just say people in general, there's a lot of people who are losing in the Forex market. All right? I have to tell you this, that with Forex usually looked at as an ordinary profit or loss. All right, when you file your taxes, you can look at Forex profit and losses as an ordinary profit or loss. All right, so basically, if let's say you make $40,000 a year on your job. All right, and let's just say you make $40,000 a year on your job. Out of the $40,000, let's say you had a tax. Let's just say you made $40,000 a year and you lost $5,000. All right. So if you lost $5,000, then of course your taxable income would be $35,000. All right, that will be your taxable income. Your ordinary income, because you had a net loss of $5,000. All right. Now conversely, if you put 10 in and you made 5, then of course you would or let's say you put 5 in, or whatever you put in, and whatever the profit is, you just increase it on your overall income for the year. All right, and that's why they consider it like ordinary profit or loss. Now, of course, everybody's situation is different. Okay, if you're in a situation where, let's say, you're trading cryptocurrency, a lot of cryptocurrencies could be a short-term gain. All right, because you may hold it for 3 months. So of course there are certain rules for the short-term gain. Now, if you're holding crypto for a number of months, maybe a year, then of course you can have a long-term gain. All right, so it's always advised, regardless of your situation, seek legal professional counsel. All right. Over the years, okay, there was a point in time, of course, where I was losing in the market, and losing in the market, a couple $100 here, there. After a whole year, it would tally up to, let's say, a couple thousand. Then I would keep a record sheet, whether Excel or whatever, write them down, whatever way you can keep it, so that you can easily, transfer that data over to your tax professional. Or if you do your own taxes, you really need to keep that stuff organized. You keep that stuff on a spreadsheet, Excel sheet, and then you can deliver it to your, send it electronically to your tax professional. That way they can, okay, Mr. Scott, you lost $1,500 this year, and based on whatever amount, it could be a maximum amount for the year. Okay, in this area, section, whatever, we can only have you write off up to $1,000. So if you lost $2,000, well, you're out that $1,000. That overage, you're out. So your tax professional should know the laws, should know the limits for that year. When we go to elections and stuff, and they make these changes and all this stuff, these things, your tax professional should know this stuff, especially when it's dealing with money. Or taxes. So when you're making these profits and losses, all right, I'll say losses, you want to keep some type of spreadsheet. So when you go and file your taxes, based on whatever the limit may be, you can let them know, hey, listen, this is what I spent in Forex trading. I lost this amount. I lost that amount. I made this gain. I had this gain. Something else that I think is very important. I want you guys to know this. And please write this stuff down if you can. We have what we consider US-based brokers and non-US-based brokers. Okay? If you reside in the United States, you're required to pay taxes on your profit, and and of course you have to file taxes for your losses and all that stuff. But what if you're in the US, you're based out of the US, and you're using a broker that's not in the US? Well, let me tell you this. Let me go back to, if you're using a broker that's based out of the US, you should expect for your broker to, at the end of the year, give you some type of form, like a 1099, allocating your all your profits, your any losses that you may have had, money that you put in. They're required to do that. Just like you working on your job, at the end of or the beginning of the year, they may give you, or they're going to give you your W-2 showing you all of your wages and your earnings, whatever, taxes, federal, state. They're required to give you that. All right, especially if they're set up properly. Okay, they're supposed to do that. The big names, of course, you guys should know they're going to take care of that. If you're like myself, you are in the US and you may use non-US brokers, I want to tell you guys, the US, the feds, they can track these things. Of course, they are, especially with the rise and the influence of cryptocurrency. They're starting to track these types of profits and gains. because they don't want you to use US dollars and make all this money and don't pay any taxes on it. So they're hiring different agencies to research these companies like Coinbase, you know, these companies that are really facilitating these transactions, you know, the movement of money, a lot of money sometimes. They're cracking down on it. So a word to the wise, I'm not telling you what to do. If you're using a non-US broker, I'm not telling you what to do. But I urge you to look into the matter and make sure you cross all your T's and dot your I's. If you choose not to pay taxes on your profit that you're making with a non-US broker, that's on you. What I would do if I were you is figure out the laws, talk to your tax professional, be open and honest, because a lot of times they may not know about these topics. They may not be well versed. You may have to educate them somewhat, or, you know, advise them, or you know, ask them to, you know, get a little information on it so that they can better serve you and help you. Because if you're a US citizen and you have dollars and you're putting your dollars over there in a US, non-US account and you're making money, that's still profit. Okay? Technically, you should be taxed. But based on the laws, which I would suggest you contact your tax professional, all right? You're gonna have to figure out what's the best what's the best thing to do regarding you paying your taxes. Okay? Another thing, let me think. Yes, it's just best to know that any profit made, you know, it's based on what the situation is for that year. You may, like in certain cases, there are certain forms you'll have to file that will go with your Schedule D and all that stuff. You're gonna have to know these forms, get this stuff done for your taxes, for profit, losses, all that stuff. More importantly, because I know a lot of people are in this situation, if you're losing, you want to make sure, or really if you're winning or losing, you want to make sure you know how much you put into Forex. You can go to your bank, whatever bank you bank with, make sure you get a spreadsheet of everything that you put into, wired over to, you know, Trader's Way, FX Choice, you know, any of these brokers that you're using. Or if you're you know, within the states, you know, you really have to do that. You know, you really want to make sure you do that, stay on top of it, because the worst thing to do is to start making a lot of money in Forex and start having the feds coming knocking on your door or sending you notices about, hey, listen, there's some type of evading of paying taxes. You guys hear about it. You guys know people who make all this money, you know, they start making all this money and they start to, you know, I don't want to pay taxes on it. And then it'll hit them at the wrong time when they're trying to, you know, get something off the ground, and then they have to put that project to a stop. And if you have parties involved that, listen, we have contracts stating that we need to have this done, you sign this contract, like anything go wrong and it can be disastrous. It can cost you your business, cost you your job, cost you your reputation. So these things are so important. So it's very important that we follow certain rules, especially with taxes. Like the worst thing to do is to get from underneath that 9-to-5 rat race, climb out of all this debt just to make all this money, and you put yourself back into debt because of fines and late payments and all this stuff. It's best to just take care of this stuff right away, so you can always know that, you know what, my money is good. All right, so it's very important. Now listen, you guys, as I said before, you can do research on this, talk to your tax professional, talk to a tax attorney, whoever you have to realize what's the best move in your situation. Because someone's situation, someone who made, let's say you make, you know, 185 grand a year. Well, your tax situation is different from someone who makes 20 or 40,000 a year. Different tax bracket. All right. Well, let's say you make 40,000 a year and you make, let's just say you put 10 inside the market and you did very well. Let's say you made 100 grand in the year. Your situation is different from someone who makes 100 grand a year and only made 40. You know, inside the market. I'll say it could be different. So you want to make sure that you know where you stand, because off the break, if you're working, you're in your own tax bracket. But if based on how you have your stuff set up, if you have it set up where, okay, your 100,000 in profit is going to be considered ordinary income, if you haven't put in place other vehicles where you can resituate your monies, then your earnings, like, you're going to fall into that really large tax bracket where you're going to get tore up by taxes. So these are things that you're going to have to really talk to a tax professional that can advise you on different instruments or different vehicles where you can put your funds so that they're working, and just certain things you have to know. And this is, in these times we live in, you have to be aware. All right. So I'm not going to give you guys too much information in this video, where I don't want you guys to get confused. I want to give you guys just the basics that you can really go to your tax professional and find out. A lot of this information can be read online, I'm sure. This is just information that I've gathered over the years. I'm not here to say, hey, listen, here's my tax lady. That's not my position. I would never do that, because myself, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to put anyone in a situation where you think, okay, this guy, he's making money and I know he's straight. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get his tax professional so that they can put me on. It's not about, like, everyone's situation is different. Just because someone is making money in Forex, just because someone has things going on outside of Forex, whatever, it doesn't mean that, like, my person will be able to make your situation to mimic mine. It's not that way. Like, everyone has a different situation and scenario. So your 100 grand you profit off in Forex, it's going to affect you in a certain way. If I made the same 100 grand, it's going to affect me differently. So, everyone, please adhere to this. Tax time is right before us. Make sense out of it. Do not try to do anything that's going to get yourself 5-10 years down the line in trouble. All right? You guys have a fantastic day. Remember, I'm Yusef Scott, the Forex GOAT. If you're not yet connected with me on social media, that's Facebook, that's Instagram. Get connected. If you're not a part of the 26,000 subscribers here on my YouTube channel, get subscribed. And also, if you're not a part of the Vimeo channel that I have, get connected. All right? You guys have a fantastic day. Peace.